James. He's James. I'm Pugs. Got a lot going on tonight. Are you ready?
Do tell.
Are you ready for tonight's cute outfit of the night? It's cute outfit. Wait. Oh, what? You thought I wasn't going to go? I got to be honest with you. We are not doing a show tomorrow. I'm sorry.
That's an extra level of honesty.
Well, no, there's not a show tomorrow. I got stuff I got to do. And so I'm not going to be able to wear a cute outfit tomorrow. So James, lucky for you, cute outfit week will extend deep into next week, as best I can tell, because I haven't even busted out the sport coach yet. And I've got
the audience is really into that. I doubt it.
I do. I get look. Hey, I've never worn any of these clothes. These clothes have been sitting in the closet for 5-6 years. Pandemic killed my social life. I've actually worn some of these things. All right, here we go. Here's cute outfit of the. Make sure I got this good. I told you yesterday I was going to go a little bit more formal today. So here we go. Look at me. Look at me in my cute outfit.
You look nice.
I do.
Yeah, you like to play bass in the Mighty Mighty Bosstones or something.
Okay, I'll take that. Wait, you even got? Can you see my? Hold on. Where's the? Oh, wrong way. Look at that. Do you see? Look at I even got one of those.
Square, yeah.
But it goes with the tie. Look at that. She did that. You want to see something funny? You want to know what this is? It's pocket squares, tissue paper. It's just tissue paper.
Oh, you got me so good. I feel so duped.
She had a box of every color tissue paper, and she would match it to the tie that she was putting with the shirt. She'd go, okay, I need this color. And like this was the one that was in this pocket. So I'm guessing this goes with this. It's all just for photo shoots and stuff. It's not supposed to be, an actual handkerchief. James, how are you today? Welcome to the show, everybody.
Okay, well, my cute outfit is not just a regular. Is baseball tee? What are these sleeves called? Pitcher sleeves or something?
Yeah, it's what you wear underneath your jersey. Forgot what we called it. Oh, look at that cute outfit. James is wearing himself an official Toadies of Texas baseball jersey. A couple semi-violations there of trademark law, but that's okay. We're going to look past it. I'm sure the Toady store made the proper payments to the right people.
What violations would there be on this?
That the Texas Rangers logo, obvious Texas Rangers logo that has been altered to say the Toadies. Yeah, no, look, I'm not saying that it's fair. I'm just saying that I've been involved in t-shirt manufacturing, and I can tell you how hard they come after you for these logos, especially professional sports teams. They're the worst.
It's a noticeably different font, but is that close enough that it could get you a C&D?
Yeah, you know what? There's a really interesting 30 for 30 on ESPN if you have this. If you have ESPN Plus. 30 for 30 is that docuseries that they do. One of them is called Catholics versus Cons, and it tells the story of the 1989 Notre Dame versus Miami college football game. This was number 1 against number 2. It was popularly referred to by anti-Miami people as Catholics versus Cons because Miami that year with Jimmy Johnson and Michael Irvin had gotten into all kinds of trouble. There were players being arrested, So Catholic, good guys versus bad guys. They sold a t-shirt. The 30 for 30 is about the kid that made the t-shirt on campus at Notre Dame that said Catholics versus Cons, that I can tell you, having lived in the Midwest and being a Notre Dame fan at that time, probably sold over 10 million copies. That t-shirt was everywhere. And so they went
a lot.
No, I'm kidding. Of course, not 10 million. But what I mean is that shirt was everywhere. It was just a shirt that a kid made in a college dorm, and because it appeared on ESPN, and then all of a sudden it was everywhere, and it became 30 for 30, Catholics versus Cons. Very interesting. I learned a little bit about the trademark thing. He had all kinds of problems with trademark, and he went through exactly what they look for. And I'm just telling you, he'd look at that and go, yeah, that's slightly problematic.
Some of the 30 for 30s are duds, but 90% of them have been amazing. These are some of the best sports documentaries ever.
Yeah, without a doubt. Untold, is it Untold? Netflix has a copycat, has a clone sports series like 30 for 30 that is also excellent. It's the one that recently did the really good Johnny Manziel documentary.
Oh, I watched that. That was great.
Yeah. And it's just like 30 for 30. It's just Netflix is doing it. It's just their version. It's their Pepsi to Coke, 30 for 30, you're right. 30 for 30s are, they're hit or miss. I don't know. I'd say maybe 70%. Sometimes it's just the sports issue I don't give a shit about. You know, you know what I mean? The 1972 Olympic figure skating finals was one of the most dramatic. I'm like, I'll pass. I don't that.
And this is the American that pioneered speed walking.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, is that important?
The aerobics boom of the early 80s is covered in this week's 30 for 30. Hey, okay, so I got a couple of things now. Look, I don't know if you got anything stupid. I don't know if you got anything silly, anything frivolous that you want to just toss out here at the beginning, because I got some deep stuff that we can get into. I want to get into some heavy articles, some real conversations. I've been enjoying our deeper conversations lately.
Let's go deep.
All right. So first and foremost, let me talk about one of the great minds of the millennial generation. Certainly one of the most influential, certainly an idol. I, of course, speak of Paris Hilton. No, Paris Hilton. You can step on my joke, but go ahead. That's fine. It's not like I haven't done that to you a million times. Paris Hilton is trending. Paris Hilton is trending because, Paris is Paris. James, give me your okay, you're explaining Paris Hilton to an alien. Go.
She's the daughter of a rich guy, so she lives sort of in this fantasy world of what the rest of us experience. But she's not inherently dumb. She just has a different, I don't know. She's not exceptionally bright. She's kind of average, but she's got money and she's smart enough to make herself look good. And I don't know. I don't know. See, I'm having mixed feelings about Paris Hilton because after watching a few episodes, I didn't watch every episode of her show that she did with Nicole Richie or whatever.
The Simple Life or something.
But I watched a few of them, and it's kind of like every once in a while you would see a second of her too being like a sentient human being, and you would think to yourself, is the rest of this just an act?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I'd pull the alien aside, go, look, that was great. James tried to go a little bit deep, give you some nuance about her. Here's all you need to know about Paris Hilton, okay? She's hot, she's dumb, she's rich, and she's an asshole. That's how I would describe Paris Hilton. That's how I feel about her. Maybe you feel differently. However, she's trying to age. She's trying to do something that I do applaud her for. She's trying to mature gracefully. She's trying to stay in the spotlight with some influence, holdover from her. I mean, she's a well-known character from the millennial generation, so she can't be blamed for wanting to hold on to that. And she's trying to change her brand, trying to become a
mom.
A mom, whatever. I don't know, maybe she's going to go in the Gwyneth Paltrow goop direction where she's selling vagina candles or what. I don't know, whatever it is, but she's trying to become more of a rational, civilized human being and not the girl that couldn't get out of a car without her twat flopping out on the sidewalk, right? I mean, that was her big thing. Oh, I forgot to wear underwear again. Drunk bimbo. That was kind of her whole thing. All right. So she's working hard at it. Apparently she's got a book in the works and there's a new documentary or something that's going to talk about all of her. She's got a lot of money, James. I don't know if you know this. Them Hiltons, they got a lot of what they call generational wealth. And apparently she's in charge of a whole lot of like really good causes and she's putting her money to work. That's what she does every day. She actually does something. Or so we're being led to believe, right? That's part of the rebranding. It's like all these things, but I'm buying it. Okay, so to that end, started trending today on Twitter because somebody rehashed something that she said and she did and that she got involved in like 20 years ago. And I'm going to read it to you, okay? Paris Hilton, I'm going to tell you exactly what she said. Now, she said this to a gossip reporter back in 2003.
Jesus Lord.
This was in a club. Paris Hilton, this is prime Paris Hilton time. In a club, 2003. Yeah, I'm listening. What are you saying, Paris? Because, that's prime Paris time. I was talking to a guy at the time who was sort of like a society LA blogger kind of dude, gossipy kind of guy, right? She's, because that's what she was at this point. She was just famous for being famous. People wrote about her because she went to parties and that's who she was. This guy ends up writing a book years later and the book kind of becomes a semi-hit. And in the book, he talks about what it is that she said to him in this club. Now I'm going to read you what she says. Okay. Strauss is his name. All right. So he says at some point in the night at the club, she pointed out the actor Vin Diesel, who had recently appeared in the film Saving Private Ryan. Paris said, I went out with him last night, that guy right there. We were making out, but then we went somewhere where it was bright and I saw that he was black and made an excuse and left. Strauss, who she said this to, reportedly then asked Hilton, how black does a guy have to be? He says that she responded, 1% black is enough for me to be out. Hilton has a reality show, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, all right. So she also said that, here, where's the other quote? Something about it. The other quote is in the headline. Paris Hilton would never date a black guy, and then in quotations calls them gross. Okay, so this is 2003 Paris Hilton in a club, calls them gross. She's trying to rehab her image here into 2023. Somebody drugged this up from 20 years ago, and the quote from the book that was published, I believe, in 2012. And they're just, they're going after her. It's like, look what you said in 2023. And, Paris Hilton rates, but, I can see where they're like, she's a racist. She's a white elitist. James, what do you think of this story as I've told it to you? Maybe you're seeing something else because I know you're looking at something. But what do you make of this so far? The what she said?
Thank God I'm not held to account for all the dumb stuff I said in 2003. It's the first thing I think. That's
a pretty rough one, though. I would never date a black guy. They're gross. It's troubling. I mean, I know for a fact you would have never said that. As a matter of fact, you would have said, put me to the black chicks. I mean, it's not like,
Is she hot? That's my question. Is she hot? Yeah, I don't know where she's from.
And by the way, we're talking about Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel was too black for her.
Is Vin Diesel even black? What is he?
He's half. He comes from mixed race.
No, he's got to be like maybe a fourth. Is he a half?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that I've heard him talk about that in the past, that he is mixed race. I don't know how much. I don't know the breakdowns. He
was white.
Yeah. Well, too black for Paris Hilton.
Well, he's the same color as Amel. And Amel's a white guy.
Yeah, well, I have my doubts about Amel's lineage. I think there might be some, He is Sicilian, close to North Africa. Right, but very close to North Africa.
Well, he's like Berber or something.
I don't know. Maybe some Moorish blood. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. Okay, so anyway, let me.
Hang on. Yeah. I have to. I process this in two parts. Number one, did she actually say that?
Yes, that is not being debated. It's been quoted in the newspapers at the time, and it appeared in the book. And author's never been sued, so we have to assume that she did say that drunkenly. Well, I'm guessing in 2003 in a club at 2 a.m.
Is she trying to make a joke? Is she trying to say something sensational just to offend people? Do you think that's really what's in Paris Hilton's heart? Do you think that was really what was in her heart in 2003? Do you think that's really what's in her heart now? And then on top of that, not to excuse it, because it absolutely sounds racist, but are people not allowed to have preferences on who they hook up with? And is her distaste for non-whites exclusive to blacks, or does that count? Like, what would she make out with me? Because I'm like a quarter Hispanic. So
we also know that her best friend is Kim Kardashian, or was for a long period of time back then. And
Nicole Richie's a halfie. Nicole Richie's a biracial.
There you go. That's right. Nicole Richie is. So we know that she's not overtly racist, which sort of supports my point. But go ahead. I haven't given my point yet.
Well, I have a whole lot of like nuancy questions. Nuance isn't allowed in a situation like this. You're just supposed to say Paris Hilton's a Klansman and she should be ostracized from polite society.
Thank you for saying that. That's exactly my point. And that's why I said I want to get into this, because there is a lot of nuance in this. And I want to sort of talk about it without just going, she's a racist and a Klan member. So give me the nuance that you're detecting, because I've got some I'd like to share that I'm not excusing her. And I'm not saying that but I do want to talk about what she said and what it really means, not what we perceive it to mean.
Right. Well, and also I'm coming from the worldview that the demand for racism is far higher than the supply. So there's people out there who are just lashing and latching on to anything that can support their worldview because, they're lacking a little bit of evidence. But also the non-biased sort of sterile analytical take on this would be like, okay, would everyone be upset if it was a Jewish person saying they only want to procreate with another Jewish person? No, we see that all the time. They openly confess that. I mean, I've had girls say, "Oh, I can date you, but I can't bring you home."
Yeah.
I've heard black
Indian families, Indian immigrant families, one of the most successful recent immigrant groups to this country in the past 25 years. They're still very much only married within the Indian culture and the Indian whatever religion.
Right. And if you sit around and just peruse the news long enough, you'll see that some suburb in Arizona had an honor killing because a Muslim father didn't want his daughter dating a white guy. And no one seems to get really nonplussed over that. And so is it coming from a place of like actual racial superiority that she doesn't want to procreate or hook up with the black dude? Or is that just some sort of preference where, a birds of feather flock together, and a lot of people in a lot of tribes do that? Most of us really don't care from my experience, but are people not allowed to care?
I can tell that until my generation and my Aunt Maggie's generation, and she got married just before I did, no one in my direct family was able to marry anyone that wasn't Irish or Catholic. My first wife was Irish and Protestant, and she had to lie to my grandma and grandpa about being Catholic. We just told her she was Irish, and they just assumed she was Irish Catholic, but she was actually Irish Protestant, Northern Irish, and that would have flown.
So does that make them as bad as Paris Hilton is supposed to be for this? I mean,
no, probably worse. My grandparents were probably worse because that's a bad people to use because they were racist. I was raised around them. I've heard them say things. There's no doubt about them. But yeah, no, I do come from a family who culture, Irish Catholic culture, at least until the modern times, and modern times being within the last 20, 30 years, you weren't really encouraged to marry outside. Greek American culture is like that, and it's just common. I don't know if it means you hate all other races or if you just want to keep your family line pure to the culture, region, whatever it is, where you genetically come from. Okay, here's what I think. And I'm really glad that you said what you said, because I'm going to echo you now, because I agree. And it's the reason I brought this up. Are we certain that Paris Hilton, when she says black guys are gross and I would never date a black guy, are we certain that this is because, she's dumb and she doesn't articulate well? Do you think she would have a problem dating Michael Jordan, or do you think she would have a problem dating?
I think she would.
I think this is, okay, this is a bad example because I really do think this is a racist thing that he said. But oftentimes I'm wondering if what we accuse people of being racist for is really just classist. Like, it's not, they say, like,
Paris Hilton wouldn't date me either.
No, she wouldn't date me either. But if I had money, she would. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It just.
Well, here's the tough part, because if she was racist,
this is a bad example. She seems racist in this. I got.
No. Look, and this is why it's so hard to defend, because if she was racist, that is exactly what she would say.
Yeah.
But we don't know if she's saying that out of a place of racial animus. Does she think that black just on average are inherently inferior to white people and don't deserve equal treatment, or she just has her preferences? Like, I'm into redheads.
Calling somebody a racist, we gotta tap that down a little bit, because that's really going nuclear. We don't seem to make any distinction or have any care to find the nuances to whether or not it's racist.
Let me add to that.
Or if it's prejudiced, or if it's just bigoted. Because I think a lot of this stuff is just bigoted and prejudiced, but not racist. You don't think that you are superior because of the tone of your skin. It's just prejudiced. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I think either we need to knock it off for everybody or apply the same rules to everybody. But this thing where if a black person said the same thing, no one would be offended. They'd be like, yeah, I prefer, because you hear them say it, I prefer a brother or a sister, or, Jews say that about each other.
You'll never hear a black guy say he won't date white girls. You're not going to hear that.
I have heard that. I have heard that.
Where have you heard that? That was good.
A guy named Thurgood that I used to mix beats with in Deep Ellum. He was kind of a black nationalist, but I've
okay, so he's the extreme. Okay, all right. I'm just saying that's so common now. I don't know. I think Paris Hilton's an idiot, and I think that this is a really stupid thing. But I think in 2003 she was saying a lot of stupid things. I think that she's an elitist. I think that anybody that isn't in her economic and social stratus she looks down on and wouldn't date anybody. I don't know that she necessarily thinks that she's superior because of the color of her skin. I think she thinks she's superior because of her genetic line, because of her last name. That's why she thinks she's, and that's classism, not racism.
Do you think she would date Patrick Mahomes?
I would have. I don't know. He's kind of awkward. Like he's a bad example. Like if Tom Brady was black, like would she date black Tom Brady? Yeah, I bet she would. I bet she'd date black Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is kind of a dork. Like I could see how he's got that and he's got the weird hair and he's not like classically good looking. He's the best quarterback of all time, but yeah.
Oh my God. Did you ever see that mashup between Patrick Mahomes and Kenny Powers?
No, is it serious? Because I have seen like Patrick Mahomes compared to Screech. I've seen that.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but not Kenny Powers.
All right, here we go. Here's the Patrick Mahomes, Kenny Powers mashup. Oh, I gotta share it. Yes, 10 of them popped up.
I typed it must be a common thing. Let me see these. Now I want to see them.
Right. And some of them are genius. Hang on.
Make them big.
Oh, I shall. Let me try and find the one I saw before.
Hold on, I'll just
start off. They actually threw a nice party for us at the hotel. The Chainsmokers came through. DJ Khaled came through. I had the goddamn Spoon Man from the Soundgarden videos coming to my shit.
No way.
Oh yeah, I'm talking 6 grills burning at all times. Tiki torches, 3 whole pigs, fucking shitloads of macaroni and cheeses, baked potatoes, collard greens, a horse, fucking Puerto Rican chicks showing their pussies and tits off everywhere. You can't beat that, man. That's every genre of music you need right there.
That is awesome. That is great.
There you go. Yeah. So
that is great. All right. I do have one other thing that I wanted to bring up with you, unless you've got something you want to jump in with. We got time, whatever you want to do.
Well, Byron, Thurgood was not here. Thurgood was not his real name. I did not know his real name because I was not allowed to know his real name.
Why were you not allowed to know his name?
Because he was a militant that was involved in some things that he doesn't need to have his legal name floating around.
You hung out with this guy? You hung out with this guy. All right. It wasn't just the dude who was on a corner that you walked by and you talked to him sometimes because you were looking for good tape.
So you remember in like 2001, it's about the time of Paris Hilton when you had bulletin boards that you were a part of and just message boards, discussion groups. And so there was a big one in Dallas called dfwhiphop.com. And a lot of people who were in the sort of our part of the scene, dude, Eric and Vitamin D and all of those, and Ben and Skin were in it. And so this was sort of the community, kind of like the Dean's List is for the Dean's comedy people of our hip hop crew. And he was one of those guys. And we used to get into discussions and arguments, and I would see him at other people's shows because we had a lot of mutual friends. And, you know, we got to talk a lot. And I don't know, he seemed like a Saturday Night Live character. But I really thought a couple of times he got so mad he was going to punch me. But was
he like a black Israelite or just like a non-affiliated radical black dude?
I think he used to be a 3%er, whatever that is.
Not a clue.
I don't know either, dude. There's more than, or maybe it's a 5%er because 3%ers are like the Banditos, right?
I have no idea. I don't know about your underground crime world.
You don't. Well,
I wear a suit. This is the world I live in.
Yeah.
Called me a Bible salesman, Jeff did. That's me. I go door to door. Howdy, ma'am. Have you heard the word?
He was one of those guys that I just had to agitate because he would say crazy things like, well, black people can't be racist because they're not in a position of power in order to oppress other populations. I'm like, but the definition of racism is you believe certain races are better or worse than others based solely on the color of their skin. And so black people can be racist, right? Because black people can have that thought and that belief system in their head. Yeah, but they can't exercise. They don't have controls of the levers of power in order to oppress other people. Yes, but they still have that thought in their head, right? And it would just never go anywhere.
Well, anybody that hates somebody solely because of a different, race is a racist.
Well,
I've heard the argument that he made there. Black people can't be racist because of the powers. What they can't be is they can't be. I don't know what you could have. Yeah, never mind. I'm having difficolty talking today. I'm very tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Well, the definition of racism is the belief that some races are better or worse than other based on the color of their skin. That you could even infer traits like that on an entire group of people, and almost nobody believes that anymore. I mean, it's in retrospect kind of a silly thing to believe.
Did anybody ever believe that? I mean, I remember that was a thing that people said, but I also seem to remember that it was always something that would elicit an eye roll when a black.
Well, not in our lifetime, but
Hmm.
you just go back 100 years, and yeah, a lot of people, racism was one of the more common streams of thought, and a lot of it wasn't malevolent. A lot of it was sort of a benign racism, even a benevolent racism. Like, yeah, well, we're smarter than them, but they still deserve equal rights and should be able to use whatever bathroom they want.
Byron says I look like I'm gonna go vote for Beto. No, Byron, this ain't what I wore. Oh,
Well played.
Let's see.
Did you vote? Did you vote yesterday?
No.
Wait,
No, I'm registered in Illinois. I'm still officially an Illinois citizen because I'm just here visiting.
Did you vote by mail?
No, I'll do it for senator and congresswoman. I'll reelect my girl Robin Kelly, who's probably going to just be there. Yeah, I talk about this all the time. I love my congresswoman Robin Kelly. She's probably going to be there for 100 years, and she's the best kind of congressperson to have. The kind of congressperson who has been there for a bunch of years, but nobody knows her. You know why? Because she keeps her mouth shut and she just works. She's just a legislator. That's it. She's not a gadfly. She doesn't get in front of the cameras. She doesn't say stupid shit. You know what I mean? We know like 15 people in Congress, and it's all the stupid loudmouths on both sides. There's like 400 something more of them who are actually, and I happen to like Robin Kelly. She keeps her mouth shut. She doesn't embarrass our district, and she seems to, have things running fine. So, but yeah, no, I will mail in for the big elections.
Well, I am very closely watching a very important seat in this election cycle.
Okay, which one? Dog catcher, Parker County, what?
Well, we got to go to the very important swing state now of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the nice young lady who just wants to serve the people of her district, got caught up unfairly in one of these ugly mudslinging scandals. This is so childish.
All right, come on, hit me. We've tracked this girl on the noon show, so yeah, we're familiar with her.
Well, I think she's been completely unfairly
maligned.
Oh, just sandbagged for doing something that I don't see what the problem is. She's a Democrat, Susanna Gibson. Is that her name? Or Susanna Gibson.
This is the OnlyFans chick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, like.
And she's still running. She's like, yep.
All right, I don't look. If you would have asked me 2 days ago, I would have said she's going to win. You don't understand what year this is. So maybe in 2 more years, someone like this will win. But she is beautiful. And if you want to say, well, she's just a hoe, or she is a horrible role model, or she is some kind of, sinful, devilish slut. Well, she did it all with her husband in the confines of marriage. And did she sleep with any other dudes, or did she just do stuff with her husband?
CJ, doesn't matter if she did. It's a woman. It's her body. Sex is not evil. You people and the way you think in your worldview has made it somehow naughty. Put some shame on it. She's fine. You're right. Now, a little distasteful for me. I don't know if I'd vote for her. I think I might be like, I'd rather not know what my congresswoman's boobs look like. But I don't blame her. Like, I don't judge her as. I think if a woman wants to, well, you know me. I believe prostitution should be real or legal.
Legal. It's real.
It's real. It's very real.
This isn't even prostitution. This is something her and her husband are doing anyway. Yeah. She's not doing anything different than a normal, healthy, moral. Even if you're a Christian. This lines up with your values, except for the fact that she let some people watch for a couple bucks.
It's weird. It's kinky.
It's weird. I don't do it. I couldn't talk my wife into it, even if I wanted to.
No.
So it's not on the menu for me. But I think I am pushing back on this a little extra hard, because as a guy who feels like he's on some sort of floating island because I have a decent marriage, I look in the media and there's almost no one telling my story, and there's almost no one glorifying what it's like to have a long-term healthy relationship with a member of the opposite sex, and y'all love each other, but you still have a healthy sex life, and it can still be fun. All the good sex isn't being had in the single world, or in the affair world, or in the cheating world, or in the back of CD theaters. The awesome sex is happening in marriage beds every night by the millions, probably in a greater proportion than it gets credit for.
Cool. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say.
Well,
I certainly don't think that married sex after 4 kids with the same woman is better than crazy one-night hookup sex with like somebody you just met who's a 10, who's I don't know, man. I think you have fine sex, and I think that's great. But why does everything have to be a contest? Your sex life is great. You're satisfied. That's what matters.
Well,
Don't
because
compare it to, Brandon. Don't compare it to Sunbrew Brandon. That's a losing fight.
Well, no, these cultural things matter, and more so than just my opinion, because I remember being, early 20s, even mid 20s, being scared of committing to a woman because everyone makes marriage sound so bad, and all the comedians' jokes are about how it's just hell on earth. From Sam Kinison to Louis C.K. Getting married is a horrible idea. Clearly, being divorced is better, and all that stuff. There's not a whole lot of people telling the good side of it, and you could still be cool, and you could still write songs and make jokes and stuff, and they're very
happy. Yeah.
Right. And when I got into marriage, and you settle into it, like the first year of you're happy, and you're like, well, of course I'm going to be happy. It's the first year. Who could screw this up? But then after a while, you're like, this is way better than everyone made it out to be. And I have, not to switch subjects here, but to sort of steer into a different fork. I have the same qualms about the way being a parent is portrayed. They act like, oh, your life's over and it's going to be terrible. And it's not as hard as everyone makes it sound. I have 4 kids, and they're like, oh, isn't it horrible? Not really. No,
yeah. I don't know, man. Hey, that's great. I think it's great. Yes, your life sounds freaking awful to a lot of people. It does, but it's not. The reality is that your life is your life, and if this is all cool with you, I don't think you should worry about what other people say. You've got a beautiful wife, you've got great kids, you love them, you're a part of the community, man. Go with it. Don't ask questions. Don't question it. But it sounds awful.
Why does it sound awful?
Because you'll never get to have sex with a strange woman again. You can't even have fantasies about it because that there's no payoff to your fantasy. When I like meet a girl, like if I meet a girl, like a hot girl or something, I can go to bed that night and dream about maybe hooking up with her. Who knows how the chips may fall? You can't do that.
Dude, how programmed are you? You act like all the good sex is being had on this side of the divide.
All the what?
All the good sex.
All the different sex, James. You're missing the point. What is good sex is subjective to the individual. I am glad you are having good sex. What is consistent among both of our stories is that you are having sex with the same person. And that's what I'm saying is the enticement of the single life is the strange, to put it so bluntly.
So you claim, but you haven't had sex in 3.5 years.
No,
you're not having any strange. You're not having any. I am having constant, 2-3 times a week, love with my soulmate, and you're.
Right, that's great. What does that completely irrelevant have to do? So I've never had sex, so that I'm not a single person. My choice to not have sex somehow negates me having an opinion on this.
Nope. But for long lasting,
you just said it to be mean. That's what it was.
No,
you just said it to take a shot.
No, this is not taking a shot. You are just repeating the general ethos that you see out in the world. That is not true. You're not having sex at all. Not only is your sex life not better, it doesn't exist. Mine does.
But that, again, has nothing to do with me saying that the prospect of only having sex with the same person for the rest of my life sounds dismal. What you just said about me, the fact that I'm a pandemic virgin and proudly so, what you just said about me has nothing to do, or it bears in no way on what I just said. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't matter if I'm getting laid every night or not at all. The fact is, I can with any number of girls that catch my fancy. You cannot.
Okay, so the net amount of sex that you can have in a lifetime is going to be from a relationship that does not have all these breaks in it. Like that's one of the genius things of marriage. When you want to quantify, like, how can I have the most amount of sexual satisfaction over the course of my life I am on the path to do that. You people who just hop around from relationship to relationship.
Whose goal is that? That's like only your weird. That's nobody's goal. What you just said?
To have often amazing sex.
No, I think everybody's goal is to have a fulfilling and sharing relationship with someone that they can connect to. I don't think, just coming is like the big thing. Yes, that's nice. But everybody is not as wired as you. I'm crazed that you're this old and you still have this libido of a 25-year-old college.
It's not that. Look, I'm the one who's in the long-term monogamous relationship. You're the one who's so concerned about I can sleep with anyone I want.
Yeah.
No,
that's why I think
college kid. I sound like an adult. You sound like a college kid.
No, I don't, because that's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is that my life is open, and some people are geared towards finding that thrilling. Yours isn't. Your life is basically done. You can't move. You can't really, unless you get a really killer offer, you can't pick up and take chances and roll the dice. And it's good that you're happy with your situation. It really is, because you can stay there and you can dominate. Me, I don't know what the next 10 years of my life holds. And that's exciting. And that's better for me, not better for you. And what you're saying is you're looking at my life and filtering it through your lens and going, I hate that.
No, I'm not saying I hate that. I'm saying I wish you could have this. I wish you could find your soulmate.
I don't fucking want it, James. I've been married twice. Do you not think there were opportunities to have? See, that's the condescension that is a bit insulting and it's frustrating. But I mean, whatever.
You're the only person who's not looking for a soulmate.
Who says I am not looking for a soulmate? You asked me yesterday if I could see myself getting married again, and I said it's 50-50. Why are you putting these words in my mouth?
No, I'm asking. That's a genuine question. You're not.
Am I the only person not looking for? I reject the contention that I'm not looking for a soulmate.
No, that's a reasonable next step from your claim that your prime directive is to be open and able to just sleep with whoever you want and have something change and have some strange and get something new. And so you are dismissing the idea of just finding one person and that's it for the rest. You said that sounds miserable.
No, it's
the opposite of that is you're not interested in locking down to one person.
What you're doing here is you're taking that my life, as I look down at the next 10 years, is a complete blank slate. There are opportunities. There's anything that I want to do, I can do. And I'm thrilled by that. I like that. That's what I want. Now, here's another thing. People are always like, it must have sucked growing up without a dad. I didn't have a dad. I didn't miss not having a dad. We didn't grow up in a house. Must have sucked not growing up in a house. Grew up in a condo. That's all I've ever known. So these ideas that you are projecting upon me and other people in general that we somehow are lacking because we're not doing what you're doing is really insulting. And I'm wondering if you're even picking up on that.
No, you're taking this as a personal insult when I'm talking about people in general. People in general who...
Okay, first of all, I'm not taking it as an insult. You and I we do this for fun. This is an exercise. So I'm not really taking it as a personal insult. We're jamming here. We're a couple of guitar players. Okay, go ahead. Continue on. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's all right. That's just kind of I think we covered all the ground because I would like to re-express the parallel complaint I have about how hard they make it sound when you have kids.
Fuck you, Barney. Hold on. This is getting too far. Now, this I do take personal. When people say stupid shit like this, it's insulting the other way as well, Pugs. No, I said James's lifestyle does not seem like it would appeal to me in response to him going, oh, poor you. Barney, shut up. James, let's see. You attack James for thinking he's the norm, but you think you're the norm. I sure as fuck don't think I'm the norm. If I would kill myself, Barney, if I was the norm. I'm not trying to be the norm. What about... Okay, that's all I needed. I ran it on Barney. Go ahead, James. Sorry.
But
I ran out of fuel.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier this week. There was this lady I was doing a commercial with for TV, and she was pregnant. And I was like, is this your first kid? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, you look really worried about it. She's like, I know. I have a job and my husband works and this is our first kid. And she was like 30, you know, it's like, it's way easier than you're making it out to be. I don't know if she was just having some sort of hormonal moment and I was catching like a lot of, you know, she was kind of tense about the whole thing. But I think it's really not fair how we scare people about how bad it is to be kids. And the people I blame for that are parents, like people who have kids, and they go around, they're like, you don't understand how difficult it is. Because I remember those people before I had kids. And when a kid's issue would come up, like how old is too old to, or how old is before you let your kid date, or you let them have their own phone, or, you know, your typical radio topics. And you and I would express opinions and people would call in and say, well, if you've never had a kid, then you don't understand. And I hate that, right? And so I couldn't wait to become a parent so I could just see if there really was something magical. And there's not. There's not. We were right the whole time. There's nothing magical about having a kid. It's not that difficult. It's not like, oh, the burden is so much that someone who's never had a kid just couldn't possibly relate to the toils and the troubles I'm going through. It's not even that hard. Like, it's not even close to that hard.
How are we defining difficult? What are we talking about? Because I don't know that having a child suddenly come into your life is a disruption. It's a completely different lifestyle, but you have chosen this lifestyle, so you shouldn't and cannot define that as a difficulty because this is something that you chose to bring this child into the world and make this life change. I don't know about difficulty. Yeah, you lose a lot of sleep. Yeah, okay, so what? But there is a degree of concern and care and constant anxiety that comes with having children that did not exist for me before my child existed on this planet.
Yep.
That's a fact. That's
Agreed.
a reality.
Agreed.
But as far as, it being, oh, you're such a hero having your first kid, it's like, go get over yourself. I'll open the door for pregnant ladies and carry their packages, but come on.
Right. But I think people love to sort of put themselves on a pedestal for like, you don't know what I'm going through. So well, I kind of do. And even before I had kids, I had younger cousins that I had to help take care of and friends of the family with little kids. I spent a lot of time. I had a big family, spent a lot of time around little kids. It's not like I had no idea what it's like to change a freaking diaper.
Look at that. Well, you and I were the complete opposite. Spent no time around little kids. My entire life, I was the littlest kid. So look at that.
Well, I helped change the diapers of two of my younger cousins.
Yeah, thank you, Barney. Barney points out that Brandon is in here. Maybe we should bring Brandon into the what a good sex life looks like conversation, because maybe then we'll call E. We'll get E involved. We'll see. We'll get some of his stories. Hey, I do want.
Do you think E would trade places with my relationship situation? I mean, he's had what? Is this his second divorce?
I don't know that he's. What are you talking about? Second divorce? Everything seems. I don't talk about his personal life, but no, I don't think he would. I think.
Well, I don't know what he's going through now. Yeah. Just I was referencing court documents that have been floating around for years. So.
No, the issues from way back. That's like, that's he and his wife. They seem to have a very no. Yeah, I would say that he would probably answer a resounding no because of his own life choices and the way he is doing his own family. So,
well, check out this. Do you think Elvis would trade places with me? All his fame and fortune, he found, even if Priscilla was his soulmate, he's ruined it with her. They did not have like a happy ending at all. He only ended up having like one daughter that survived, who only ended up having like one kid that survived. So he has like one grandchild. I have a happy relationship. I lived past age 42. So I'm already beating him by 4 years. Right.
Yeah.
And so, if I live like another 40 years and, have this sort of blissful thing that I got going now, just sort of continue on along its merry way, do you think someone like an Elvis would say, I would rather live to age 90 and have all this rather than, be the biggest rock star of all time and burn out at 42 and die at 42 with little lineage just trickling off after me?
Did you hit your head today? Is there some head injury that I'm unaware of? I mean, I know I'm having difficulty talking. No, James, I don't think Elvis Presley would trade his life experience of 44 years for whatever it is you got going on to this point and up in the future. No, would I trade with Elvis Presley to be dead at that age? Okay, so if that's the question, like would I have died 10 years ago to have been Elvis Presley? That's a great question. Yeah. Yeah, because I'd have loved to have had that life. He squeezed more living into. Are you kidding me? He squeezed. I couldn't live that life. He's been everywhere. He's done everything. He's met everyone.
He died at 42.
So what? So what? It's all downhill after 45.
So if you pull him aside at age 42 and be like, listen, you can die now, or you can give up all your money and fame and live another 40 years. What do you think he would choose?
Well, I mean, that's different because he's been Elvis Presley for the last.
Well, it's not so cut and dry now, is it?
So now, it's not, because the option is death, James. It's like, no, yes, James, your existence is better than death. Okay. I think he might choose your existence rather than being eaten by worms. Yes. Your existence, and your existence, by the way, sounds lovely if you're still wired. I am not. So yes, it's better than death.
So what would you say if what would he trade if he could get Priscilla back and they could live happily ever after for a 60-year relationship? Would he trade in some of that fame or a couple of gold records for that?
Oh,
what if to not to be addicted to drugs and have that just sort of sink his life, and he can make better career choices? And I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not yes-anding you on this because I'm still stuck on you thinking Elvis would give it all up to live your life.
I think he would trade with me. I wouldn't trade places with Elvis right now. There's no way. I would have died 4 years ago. Screw that. This is pretty sweet. On top of that, I would like to reiterate my position that I could beat the piss out of Chuck Norris right now.
Yeah, that's right.
It's sort of the same sort of example. I know it sounds weird coming out to say the sentence that Elvis would trade, or I wouldn't have trade places with Elvis, or I could beat up Chuck Norris, but these things are true.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw Chuck Norris recently. There was some like,
he's like 5'5".
Yeah, no, it ain't looking good for him. I think you might actually be able to beat up Chuck Norris now. I don't even think he's upright. Like, I think he was sitting down, and it didn't look like he was gonna stand up. They shoot an old dude who can't move anymore. Like, I'll give you an example. I was watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and who was it that was playing? I don't know. Somebody, they were doing some tribute. Maybe it was Sheryl Crow. Yeah, they were doing it. It was Sheryl Crow being inducted. They were playing a bunch of Sheryl Crow songs, and they brought Peter Frampton out, and they're like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Frampton!" And then the camera goes on him, and he's sitting in a chair, and I'm like, "Oh, Peter can't walk." He's just stuck in the chair.
Aww.
And then the whole time he's doing the solos, for Sheryl Crow, he's sitting in the chair. And then at the end, oh, God love Peter Frampton. At the end of it, the camera pulled back to give you a wide shot so you could see the entire stage. And you actually also had the perspective of the stage hands moving shit, as they pull back from the camera, you sometimes get a perspective. It was the saddest thing watching Peter Frampton, like, just sitting in the chair because he couldn't move. And like, everybody was like, "All right, break it down, next set." And then they were doing this, and Peter Frampton is still just sitting in the chair until somebody came out and picked him up and carried him out of the chair. Oh. But yeah, so that's like, Peter Frampton's like 30 years younger than Chuck Norris. I think you might be able to take Chuck Norris now.
Yes, Peter Frampton does not come alive.
I don't know how old that guy is, but he did not look good, but he was still playing. He was still going good. Jeff says he saw a picture of Randy Travis last week. What the hell happened? Disease. Serious disease.
He has like MS and lupus and like 4 cancers.
Parkinson's, yeah.
And drinks like a half gallon of Jim Beam every day.
Well, still, because I remember hearing a podcast with his wife. It was, God, what was it?
He doesn't have a wife.
He's got a caretaker. He's got a woman who takes care of him.
Okay.
He's got a woman who's been by his side for like 20 years. I mean, she was there as his, caregiver person. But he drank so much that he just destroyed his body to the point that when he became older and his body naturally began breaking down, there was no defenses against any of these diseases. And he's got a whole bunch of terrible things.
He was amazing. He was an amazing singer.
Great voice.
The few times I never saw him live in person, but on TV, that's so hard to pull off, because the reverb, they just never get it right or whatever. He was good whenever I saw or got to hear him live. He had a great voice. He had great song selection. He had great consistency. He just put out like, I know you didn't grow up listening to country music, but I had to sit in the back of my parents' car growing up. And there was about a good 6-year span where there was a Randy Travis song that was on once an hour on country radio. And he,
Oh yeah, no, look, he crossed over to mainstream. Randy Travis was, how old was he? 95. There you go. Okay, let's do this right. Oh, damn it. Sorry. There you go. James, it sounds like we're eulogizing Randy Travis. Randy Travis dead at 95 years old.
So he died?
No, I think someone in the chat room just mentioned him, but we started talking about him like he's dead. So I thought maybe it'd be fun if somebody was just tuning in. They might see that. And now, if Randy Travis dead starts to trend, we'll know where that started. Because look at us being goofy.
All right. So he's only 64.
Hold on. Okay. You actually looked it up. I just figured if I'm lying, why not make it up?
Yeah. Well, no, that's understood.
There you go. Randy Travis dead at 64. It's how Opie and Anthony's career got started. They reported the fake death of the mayor of Boston, and then they got fired, and they got hired in New York at 4 times their salary. So how bad can this be for us, James?
What are we trying to get out of a contract?
We're just trying to get noticed. I'm just trying to see how social stuff works. All right, Randy Travis dead at 64. He was swinging. Cute outfit. Thank you, Jen. Jen says cute outfit, Pugs, because Jen knows what week it is. It's cute outfit week. So every and cute outfit week, Jen, thank you. I know the ladies appreciate it. Next week, I will be continuing cute outfit week because I have to tell you, I got like a dozen sport coats and ties and shirt combinations. We are not done. We are not done with cute outfit week.
Why do you have all that? You don't even have a job.
Because I used to do a lot of camera work in Chicago, and this was I told the story. Oh, you weren't here when I told the story. Oh, so cute outfits, my bags and bags of cute outfits, and my hundreds of pairs of shoes, and all this kind of stuff. This comes from a show I was working on in Chicago called Good Will Hunting, and it was a shopping thrift store show that we were producing with people from Cinecine in Chicago. Cinecine is where all the TV shows are produced: Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. So the mistress, the lead mistress, who was my friend. The lead mistress on this set.
All right, explain what the hell a mistress is, because it sounds like she's leading a harem.
Dresses. Okay, so you'll watch Chicago Fire. Okay, there's going to be a scene where they're at a backyard party. What are the actors dressed like? And then they go see her, and she says, "Your character, you're wearing a flannel and flip flops and shorts." So she has access to this massive warehouse, and how she fuels the warehouse of wardrobe is all around the country. She goes to thrift stores and she finds like the most amazing things, and she buys them for pennies on the dollar, and then they appear in your favorite TV show. So she had a concept for a show she wanted to do called Good Will Hunting, which get it a play on the show, but it was she goes to Goodwill's.
It's a brilliant name.
And she dresses people. Yeah, it's a catchy name. So she takes people and she's a professional style dresser and all that. And she dresses people. And we didn't get the show picked up, but we shot a couple. And I was the exec producer and I was dating her. And we would go out and she would make me dress the way she wanted me to dress. So that's why I have bunches of cute outfits. And the other day, I was going through my Google Drive and I found, her name is Taylor. I found Taylor's cute outfits. And it was all these pictures of stuff that I have with ties that go with this and all of this cute outfits. She put together all these cute. So when I discovered it, I decided to launch Cute Outfit Week, where I'm putting them all together.
What happened to Taylor? Why didn't it work out?
They shut down production for 2 years because of the pandemic, and she moved back to LA.
I mean, between you two.
James, grown-ups don't need to be in a fucking marriage every time. You know what happened? We dated, we liked each other, we're still friends, and we're grown-ups who maybe, we'll run into each other and have a drink someday. Jesus, James, you live in 1950. I'm getting tired of it. Mm-hmm. But I'm happy for you. I'm glad that this awful-sounding existence brings you joy, and just don't try and cram it down everybody's throats.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that awful. There's a strong case to be made that you can have the random hookup.
Just stop it. Stop it. You live a life wonderful. We're all happy that you are happy. But
That Elvis would trade with me. Is that what you're agreeing to?
What's that?
Elvis would trade lives with me?
If the alternative was death or go into obscurity and live with a very nice family in Tyler, Texas, yes, I believe Elvis probably would have chosen that.
I knew it.
He wins, you see? Ultimately, he wins the argument. And that's because we're a bunch of idiots. All right, thank you, folks. Appreciate you. No show tomorrow. I'm terribly sorry. We got stuff going on tomorrow. Got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. Appreciate you hanging with us. You guys don't think, like, I know, like, oh, you know what? When I yell at James like that, when he yells back at me, and when he says these, like, things that are barbed, that's good. That's what we're trying to get to. And when I yell at you in the chat room, I'm sorry, I feel bad because I yelled at Barney, and I don't know that Barney and I have the kind of relationship that goes back the way I do, and I treated Barney the way I treat Adam, and maybe I shouldn't do that. So, but fuck you, Barney. You know I'm kidding. I'll see you guys tomorrow at noon, right? We'll do this at noon. Noontime in it. Got my kid this weekend. Oh, it's going to be a great weekend. Only had him like half. Like last weekend, there was like a half day. I get him again this week. It's going to be great. Can't wait. We're going to do snapping drills. Football season's over, but he wants to do snapping drills. So I'm going to turn into that dad. 100 snaps through the tire perfectly before you can go to bed. Nah, I won't be that guy. 100 snaps perfectly and we can go to Taco Bell. I'll be that guy. All right, I love you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you for allowing us to do this every night. See you tomorrow at noon. Bye, guys. Yeah, fuck you, Al. We love you. Bye. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be